Frostcat's number 4. The long-awaited release.
And the public's been, really demanding it. It's put a lot of pressure on
Yeah,
us, and we weren't really sure, if we could
yeah.
meet those expectations. But
I think it was just Ben asking for it, but to be honest, I don't think he saw the first 3.
was Ben actually asking for it?
I think so. He was saying something about it, I think, and he was like, "When are you guys coming out with the new one?" It's like, Ben, name the first 3, the only 3, the trilogy.
The trill. I
The
mean,
trilogy.
you only needed 3. I mean, it could just go downhill from here.
Yeah.
Did we
No, it
actually
probably
upload
will.
3? I don't even know if we uploaded 3. The
Um,
Speed Racer, Real Steel.
and the gentleman, right?
Did I actually upload the gentleman? I don't
I,
know.
I think he did. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think he did.
Okay.
I don't know. We can check. It's our YouTube channel,
Yeah, it is, I
or is
guess.
it? All right. So we're gonna make this short and sweet. A new
Okay.
format from
Yep.
the previous new format.
Yeah, the
Uh,
viewers were really asking, as you all were asking.
in
Make it
today's
shorter.
modern, 2022 world, everyone's always on the move. They can't do 45-minute podcasts that no one listens to anyways. So we're cutting it down. We're
I
going
didn't even
shorter.
listen to our whole podcast.
No, I didn't. But I kind of I was like in person listening,
This is
as
true.
it was going
Yeah,
on.
you don't want to listen to it twice.
Yeah, I remember all the material too.
Yeah. But
Um,
anyway, today we are doing a Moon Knight review,
Oognog.
possibly the greatest show. Uh,
Marvel's Moon Knight,
Marvel,
right?
yes, Marvel's Moon Knight, yes.
By Kevin Feige.
I don't. He's like the associate producer, but I don't think he actually
Mm,
he pulls the strings, but he's not like the
yeah,
director or anything.
yeah. Um, it's a big one to tackle, but I know you said you liked it, right?
I actually did like it. I liked it because I thought it was like different than a lot of the Marvel stuff. I think recently, just like with all the Marvel shows, like actually the Marvel shows like really haven't been like that
Good.
formulaic to be okay. They haven't been that good,
I
but
haven't been that good.
they also weren't like formulaic. Like you know what I mean? Like there's like the Marvel formula, and I appreciate that. Like Moon Knight, I think was like the weirdest one to be honest. Uh, and I found that interesting. Like I was actually interested. Like it wasn't well done, but I found it interesting.
No.
So it was worth watching for me.
Wait, so you thought Moon Knight was better than Loki?
No, I don't think it was better than Loki. I just thought it was more.
Uh,
I thought it was more interesting because I
did
thought
you
like
think?
the concept is more interesting. But sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen all the like Hawkeye came out. I didn't see Hawkeye. I didn't. I'm not. I haven't seen the episodes they've released of Miss Marvel. I haven't even seen the new Doctor Strange movie yet.
I haven't
It's
seen
been
that
out.
either. Yeah.
I haven't even seen the third Spider-Man yet.
Well, the
I don't know.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like you're qualified to give
Exactly.
it.
I'm
No,
not
I'm kidding.
qualified to give
I'm
an
yeah.
opinion on Moon Knight,
You're not a Moon
even
Knight
though
fan.
I didn't
Come
think it
on.
was that great. What I like Oscar Isaac and I like the premise of Moon Knight, but I think the way the show was done was just so god awful. And from a cinematography standpoint, from a storytelling standpoint, it was just so bad. Um, One scene that always comes to my mind when I think of how bad that show is or was, because I don't know if season two's coming.
I don't think they've
Um,
confirmed the season 2 yet.
Hope they don't. God.
I don't know. Maybe it'll
But
be better. Maybe
maybe
they'll.
why don't they just make a movie? No, because they got to keep it in the Marvel Cinematic miniseries universe, which is separate from the movies, and they'll all get together in a miniseries at the end,
Maybe.
kind of like the Defenders.
Except the
But
Defenders got canceled.
I don't know. I don't know. Wasn't Daredevil, Matt Murdock, and
Oh yeah, well
Spider Man?
they're bringing that back. I think at least
Oh, are
Daredevil.
they?
Yeah, yeah, to some extent.
Yeah,
That's what I heard. It's a rumor.
yeah, yeah.
But
But
yes, you were saying cinematography was.
yeah, the one scene when they were like driving out in the desert and he had to like assemble the star pattern
Oh yes,
puzzle thing. Before that scene, as they were driving out into the middle of nowhere, it like switched to one of the bad guy cars and he like was like on his radio and he's like, "We found them." And then he like started driving, and then for like 15 seconds after he started driving, the camera just like showed him driving from like in the car, but the camera started shaking like crazy because they're driving in a desert. But they just kept like that 15 seconds in, like it felt so out of place. You know what I mean? I like it was trying to be a chase camera, I guess, to
yeah,
like
yeah,
show that they were like coming after him, but like it felt so out of place and out of pace of what the show was or was doing. And then yeah, I don't know. Silly. Goofy. There were tons of shots like that throughout the TV show. Also in the I think it was the third episode where he goes and visits like the guy with all the horses,
uh,
right?
yeah. The rich guy or whatever. I don't even remember what
Yeah.
his name was, to be honest.
Yeah. Like the scenery of that was completely off because they were in it was like a nice museum, right? Or a nice like private collection display. You know, they
Yeah,
had like a mini Louvre and things like that, and there was a giant like stonemason building in the background. And then for some reason on their lawn they had like medieval jousting. And like, you go from
he's a
like
big
a
horse
mini
guy though.
no, I know, but you go from like a mini Louvre, like everything is like all like French neo Renaissance or whatever, and then you jump over and it's just like a fucking dirt lot where people are riding around their horses, which is like it was like weirdly lit because it was nighttime.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It was like lit by like baseball stadium lights, and as that whole part of the episode was playing out, I was just like, what is going on? Where's
yeah.
this
This guy
go?
has to walk through like a horse pen to get to his front door.
Exactly. It's like what's happening? What is happening? And I just felt that way through the entire show. Honestly.
I think like one of my issues with it was that they just had so much stuff happen in the last episode, and like you were saying, like that house just could have been cut out like completely. Like there was like a clue they got from it, but then they got there late anyway, so it was like
Hmm.
to the tomb.
Yeah, it's just trying. It's like trying to kill time. You know.
Also, like when he dies, and then like when spoiler, Moon Knight dies, and then Steven dies, saving Mark, and then he goes to like the field of reeds, and they're like, it's impossible to like get back when you fall into the sands. Like that's what
Yeah, the
the
hippo lady.
hippo, yeah,
Yeah,
Tawellet or whatever.
yeah,
And then you leave it up like the episode ends and it's like him and Mark in the field of reeds. You're like, oh, I wonder what's gonna happen next episode. Just immediately he walks back into the. He decides to just go
yeah.
back into the desert, save Steven like immediately, and then just the doors open and they just go through. It's like, what was the point of that?
Exactly.
Like there were like,
Exactly.
and I think that's like something that like is like kind of like I do like Marvel, but like something that's frustrating me is like it seems like there's like no stakes anymore because like it seems like
No, there isn't.
people can only really die if like the actor's contract is running down. You know, like Robert Downey
Yeah.
Jr. or Scarlett Johansson, because like they were like the two big deaths in Endgame, and you know that was pretty much just to save money on their contracts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Loki died, right? And I mean, he
Yeah, but
came back
he's
with a
died like
TV
four
show.
times. Like that's like a recurring.
That's true.
That's a little
Yeah.
different because he's like a recurring theme, you know,
Of dying
of dying. Yes.
constantly. What is this going to be the actual time? Um. No. Yeah. It's the like episode 2, 3, 4. weren't necessary. I feel like I feel like if they made Moon Knight a movie and gave it a 2 hour runtime, it would be so much better than the miniseries.
Yeah, because it would have
I,
forced them to like cut it down,
yeah,
which is
and that's
interesting because I feel like the opposite would have been for like the Eternals because it has so many characters, and I've heard people like say, the Eternals was a series. I don't know if you saw that, but um,
I did see Eternals. Well, I saw like 65% of it, and then I stopped watching it.
yeah. So it had like 47 characters, and like
Yeah,
like you don't get to really know any of
the
them.
entire cast of Game of Thrones, I heard
I mean,
was.
yes, pretty
I mean,
much.
I saw that they were there.
Yeah. And you don't
Yeah.
really get to know anything about them, to be honest, except for like their like short backstory. Um,
Mhm.
and like that's probably better for like a TV show format, which is what other people have said. And like you're
Yeah.
saying, like maybe Moon Knight, it just had like too much stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I'm remembering back to when I saw movies like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, all the first ones of those series. And it's like I remember at the end of those movies, the way I felt about those characters was like stronger than the way I feel about Moon Knight right now. Right. So like
yeah.
those movies succeeded in less than 2 hours in doing what Moon Knight couldn't do in almost six. Or no, what is it? It's like each episode's like 35 minutes with 15 minutes of credits at the end, right? Something like that.
Something
I
like
don't
it's
know.
like 50 minutes total. So yeah, like 40, 35, 40 minutes each episode.
4.5, 5 hours, we'll say then.
Yeah, probably.
So they had more than double the time to make me care about Moon Knight and his goals and what he wants. Well, I shouldn't say his. I should say they because there's five of them in there, and or I guess three with two of them have. I don't know. I don't really know how the character works.
I think it's three for now. I don't know. I didn't read the comics, so I don't know how many there
No,
actually
I
are.
didn't
But
either.
yeah, it's revealed that there's a third, but it's mainly focusing on two.
Yeah,
I honestly like. I liked the character. Like I thought it was interesting and like very different to anything Marvel's done before.
yeah,
Um, but I just like I agree. I just like the concept is like has so much potential, because it's like really
yeah,
interesting. The suit looks really cool, and like his powers are really interesting. But it's just like how it was executed. It was just like not
yeah.
well. I don't know how else to
No,
describe it. Like
I liked the first episode, but
yeah,
What Marvel does a lot is they show and tell. You know, the
yeah,
saying in movies, especially movies, because it's a visual format, is show don't tell.
yeah.
Marvel shows and tells just so like everyone is on the same page. It's like you don't have to hold our hand that much. Like
Well, it's because they're trying to give it to like such a wide audience that they're like, oh, the kids aren't going to get this. But then again, you can
yeah,
also like make a story like you can like look at like Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like that is like made for everybody, and there are like some adult themes that adults can understand, and the kids don't understand, and it can like it's still like a perfectly fine show. Same
yeah.
with like Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and like even like under Disney, it's like similar when they came back for the last season. Um, yeah, I just
Yeah,
like
okay. So let's use Avatar: The Last Airbender for example.
yeah,
I think each episode's 20 minutes, right?
yeah.
And the first season is 20 episodes, right? So that's what is that? That's like
It's three
less
books,
than
right?
seven. Yeah. So the first season though is like less than 7 hours, right?
Yeah,
Which is, I would say, roughly, it's close to the runtime of Moon Knight, right? And we learned so much about the characters and so much about who they are and what they want, and all those kinds of things from that show because they do a lot of showing. They don't really tell us,
yeah,
We
and
see how the
telling
characters
wastes
interact.
time too. Like you
Yeah.
know,
hmm Um. But like within the first like 4 or 5 episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender, we knew Sokka was like someone who's trying to prove himself. Katara's like just trying to be a good sister, not but like take the role of like her dad and her mom while they're on their journey to the North Pole, and then Aang is like, he's like the funny, you know, jokester guy, right?
Yeah,
So you have those personalities laid out, and like, in Moon Knight, it's nothing. Nobody's anything. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean,
Like,
I guess
I didn't know anything about Layla. I knew.
yeah, like Layla wasn't really developed that much beyond being like Mark's wife, and then just having to her troubles being as a result of his actions, like
Mhm.
but she didn't seem to have too many goals, or there weren't they weren't clearly stated throughout the show, at least to what I
Yeah,
remember. And she was mainly just shitty things happened to her because of what Mark did, essentially.
yeah, yeah. I would say so. It's just like, Steven is the good cop, Mark is the bad cop, and it didn't really go much further than that. It
Yeah.
didn't try to flesh out their personalities. Um, I don't.
Well, I guess Steven
Uh,
is in theory supposed to be very basic because he's just a contrived personality, right? And he's based off a movie character.
yeah.
But we didn't get enough. I feel like if they had given us more of Mark throughout the series, like I get why they started with Steven, because it's an interesting way to be like, oh, this actually isn't the actual guy. I thought that was an interesting choice, because we were all kind of focused on Steven, and then it was
Mhm.
which one's the real one? And then it wasn't Steven. Uh,
Yeah.
but I just wish they kind of fleshed out, because they were like, oh, Mark's a mercenary, and we do get the backstory with his mom and everything, and why the way he is, why he is what he is. Um, but yeah, it's just beyond that. Um, I just I didn't find him that compelling. I thought the acting was really good from Oscar Isaac, but um, I
Oh
don't
yeah, I
know.
thought it was good from everyone. I don't have a complaint about any of the actors or any of
No,
their
I
acting.
just think storytelling wise could have been much
Yeah, like I
better.
said, it was missing key storytelling elements. Like when you have like if you're doing like an adventure action movie, kind of like Indiana Jones or something like that, right?
Yeah,
If you have the plot be that the good guys are only trying to stop the bad guys, the movie doesn't really work out that way. And I think that's exemplified by Indiana Jones 4, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. The
yeah,
only reason they're really doing that is to stop the bad guys towards the end of the movie, right?
yeah,
They're not really trying to get the Crystal Skull. They're just trying to stop
yeah. And they don't
the
have
Russians.
anything personal at stake, really.
No, no, they're just trying to stop them. And from there, it's all investment in the movie is lost because they're going to stop them. You just and you also know they're not going to get anything out of it because they don't
Yeah,
have anything personal to gain from it. Other movies like Raiders of the Lost Ark, there's some investment because they open at the beginning of the movie they open the scene with them talking at the university about the Lost Ark and things like that, and it's like, okay, Indiana Jones, he's been searching for this, yada yada yada, all that kind of thing. And then in episode 3, in the third movie, The Last Crusade, there's a lot of investment besides stopping the bad guys because it's what Indiana Jones's dad's dedicated his entire life to, right?
yeah.
So it's like he's continuing his father's legacy. So there's a
There's
personal reason for them
yeah, exterior motivation beyond good versus bad,
stop
which is
bad. Yeah,
in
and that's
sometimes
and that's
Marvel
all there
movies.
was to Moon Knight. It was
Well,
just like
I would
stop the bad
I
guys.
would kind of disagree with that, because Mark was doing it, the only reason he continued the work for Khonshu was because he didn't want Layla to become the Avatar, right? But I feel like that in itself is not, that doesn't hold any weight, because we haven't really seen them have their relationship, and
No.
we're just told that they're married, or they were married.
Yeah,
And
and that's another thing too. Conchu was saying that he'd make Layla his avatar, but like we never saw any of that except for the last episode, right? And he was like, "Be my avatar," and she was like, "No," and that was the end of it. And it's like, okay, like we didn't see him try to seduce her, like trying to like be like, "Oh, you can get all this
Yeah,
power," and things like that.
yeah, and we're also
It-
told that like
yeah,
something that else I'm thinking is like we're told that like Khonshu is like a really bad like god to have as your avatar, and we're like, oh, maybe that's why Mark is like so messed up in the head. But really, like Mark is messed up because of the childhood trauma he went through, and like
yeah, and Khonshu's not even that bad.
but like what's uh, what what's Ethan Hawke's character's Harrow tells us that like Khonshu like was really bad for him too, but like he just
Hmm.
tells us that like we don't see it. Like if we got like
Yeah,
one flashback where it's like Khonshu
yeah,
like being like at the maybe even at the beginning like Khonshu being just like an asshole to Harrow, like
yeah.
I feel like that would just like like this is what would happen to Layla, like we don't
Hmm.
get to see that. We're just like told that Khonshu is an asshole, but like he doesn't like besides a few things, he doesn't like really do anything too unreasonable. And actually, he like helps them throughout the whole
Yeah,
time. So like he does
yeah,
things. He actually sacrifices himself, like by like
yeah.
moving the sky
And
to
that's and
help
that's
them.
and that's and that's the part of show don't tell, right?
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke's character was like, Khonshu's bad to me. Show a flashback of it. One thing that comes to me is the first Iron Man, right? Tony Stark lived in this bubble where his company was good, right? They didn't make arms that killed innocent people in his mind. And then as Iron Man, right, he flew out to somewhere in the Middle East to stop a tank, right, that was blowing up a village, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And he saw that they were using Stark weapons, right? And then, like, right after that, so they showed it, right? And then after that, it was like an epiphany for him, and he completely changed who he was. And he was like, "I'm shutting down the, weapons side of Stark Industries," right? And then that's
Yes.
when
Yeah.
Jeff Bridges' character was like, "Tony, give me the CEO position, Tony," right? So, so they're an Iron Man they show, and it works well. And Moon Knight, they're like, "This guy was bad to me." Okay.
It's like, all right. I mean, like,
All
I
right,
guess
I
I can
guess
take your
so.
word for it. Like, which, like, in real
Yeah,
life makes sense, but in a
yeah,
movie, like, it's a visual
yeah,
format. Like, the
yeah,
dialogue doesn't like do as much.
and like they showed other flashbacks, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Like when he when the like when her Layla's dad, like that whole scene, and then when Khonshu
yeah,
like possesses him, and we see that Khonshu
yeah,
like takes advantage of him, but he's gonna die
yeah,
anyway. So it's not like
hmm
the worst thing he could have done.
yeah, and we see like his childhood, right?
Yeah, we see his childhood.
So they do those flashbacks. Now, granted, those flashbacks occur from like Mark and Steven's memory,
Yeah,
right? So, because they're like always walking around in them and like commenting on what's happening, which is, I think, annoying. You could just show it, not tell it to. We don't need Mark and Steven having a conversation about, "Ooh, that wily bird, crikey, he tricked you and he possessed you from the beginning." It's like we can tell. We're seeing it right in front of our eyes. We're not stupid. You know what I mean?
I mean, he didn't really trick him. He just got him in a point of
No, but
desperation.
I
You
think
know?
I think I think that's like the exact like line he said. Like he was like, "Ooh, that wily bird. He tricked you from the beginning." Like when he was
Yeah,
like, "Become my Moon Knight," right? And they showed that flashback scene, and he was saying that, and I completely agree. I don't think that line fit unless they changed like the CGI or something, so or like the lines because he didn't
yeah.
really trick him. He was like, you
It would
know,
make sense if like Khonshu forced like the guy's partner to like kill
mhm.
everybody and like hurt Mark, and then he like took advantage of Mark. But like, I don't know. I just like I get that it's obviously bad to like he's taking advantage because he's about to die, right? And then he's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
be my avatar." Um, but in the sense, he does like save his life, like instead of dying, which like is not like an
yeah,
entirely horrible thing to do.
no.
I mean, he makes his
Yeah, I'd
life
agree.
worse, obviously, but he's still alive.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe I'm
It's
just like overthinking that, but
I don't know. I don't think they showed him like too much how they tricked him. I think I'd agree with you. Yeah, like he got a second life. Not all that bad.
no.
You know, and but like we don't know because they didn't show us what Khonshu did with Mark before Steven. You know what I mean? Like we don't know how
Yeah.
bad. Because like I think I'm trying to remember. I think they mentioned lines about how like Khonshu had Mark kill a bunch of people,
Yeah, well, like
right?
they showed all the
That he
people.
didn't want
I
to.
That was like the one part that like actually was like good show because it had like the train car or like the room full of like dead people that
The
Mark had
hospital
killed.
room, yeah.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
that was
I
good.
completely forgot about that scene. Didn't even make an impression on me. I don't know. I was too busy focusing on the hippo or whatever.
The hippo just like it was just
That was
ridiculous.
dumb.
Yeah,
Just like classic Marvel. You've got this like really cool scene, this really cool hospital scene. You're like, "Oh wow, where's this going?" And then like you're like it like is everything I've been watching real or is like this reality? And then the hippo comes and is like, "Ha!" And it's like, oh, oh,
yeah. I was
not
like,
good.
I was actually like that. The end of the episode was so exciting, and then like my first reaction when I saw that hippo, I was like, oh my god, this is like ridiculous.
Yeah.
It just didn't fit like the mood really to like what
No.
was happening before that at all.
No,
Like you're
it didn't.
saying. Um.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think yeah,
we're coming up on 30 minutes here, I believe. Um.
yeah. That's our quick one shot hot takes. Not very hot takes. One thing I did see is a lot of Marvel people really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And that just saddens me because at the end of the day, it was like it wasn't that they didn't do a good job. You
Yeah.
know.
And I mean, if you're gonna like it, then they're gonna make more stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's not like forcing you to
Yeah.
make good stuff. I think it has
Yeah.
like 87% on Rotten Tomatoes, and then like as a critic score, and then the audience score is 91%, which is like pretty high, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
and like I I liked it because I like the premise. I just think they really
Yeah.
need a lot better execution. You know,
Yeah.
just
By no means am I calling it bad. I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's just man, they messed up. I think they messed up.
yeah.
I
I
I
I mean, it's
I
I
could.
think it's one of the better shows, to be honest. Like
Oh yeah, hands down. It was far better than Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
Falcon and the Winter Soldier is just like I don't even know. Like,
dude.
this is like
Oh,
the middest show possible.
bruh, the Falcon, the Falcon, literally was like the climax of like the final episode. Right? He's facing this woman who has quite literally murdered innocent people, and he's like, "Don't be bad anymore," and she said, "Okay." End of the series. Wow. Amazing stuff, guys. Keep it coming. That was quite literally Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You have this character that's murdered and killed innocent people, and and I guess new Captain America just says, "Don't be the bad guy. You don't have to be the bad guy."
I think Marvel seriously has a problem with like at least in the
Oh my
shows like
god.
morally like just more like what is morally right. And I guess that's like not surprising from a company that's owned by Disney, who literally filmed Mulan next to concentration camps. But like even in WandaVision, like Wanda literally mentally tortured an entire town for like months, and
And
then
we're like supposed to feel bad for her because her
and
robot husband
yeah,
gave up his life to save the universe.
and apparently she's like kind of the villain in the new Doctor Strange movie. I haven't seen it yet, so that could fix this. But like I remember like forget her name, but like one of the characters says, um, like one of the townspeople, like, they're yelling at Wanda, and she's like, "You have no idea what she's been through," and she
Who,
like,
Wanda?
yeah, and she lost her like kids who aren't even real. So it's not like
Yeah.
they died. It was like a figment of
Yeah.
her imagination. So, anyway, Marvel has a
Anyways,
morality problem, at least in the shows, or some of the shows.
it's very
Um,
alliterative.
yes.
Marvel's morality mess
Anyway,
up. There you go.
Prosper, how would you how do you let's rate this show. I think
Oh, out of 10.
I think we should give it a few different out of 10 ratings. Let's do like cinematography, creativity, and like just entertainment value.
Entertainment value.
Yeah,
Oh, it's the entertainment value is up and down throughout the entire, like,
yeah.
varies by episode, but um I don't know, cinematography, 3 out of 10. It was so bad it was painful to watch. Oftentimes I was scratching my head going, what is going on? Not because I couldn't follow the plot, but just because, like, the way they shot it was just so stupid. And then that's more what my head was like, what's going on? I was just like, why are they filming it this way? Why are they like, what are they doing? Who's the director of cinematography for this movie? Or not movie, TV show. They should never do anything again.
I think it was a
Looks
few
like
people.
was it?
Yeah,
Well, whoever made the second, third, and fourth episode need to never do that job again, unfortunately for them, because they're
yeah.
not very good at
Well, it
it.
could also. I mean, do you mean like the actual direction or like the script? You think? Because it could just be like the entire production like wasn't like great overall. And I wouldn't be surprised because like I've heard like things about like Disney really. I don't know if they're doing this to Marvel, but like really pushing deadlines for these things. Like
Oh,
Frozen,
maybe.
Frozen 2 like really was fast tracked from behind the scenes, and that's why it was like kind
Oh,
of mid. Um,
you didn't like it?
it
Kind
was
of like.
fine. It was just like really. I mean, maybe it's because it's a kids movie, but I thought it was like very generic. Anyway, we're not reviewing that. I'd honestly,
The
I give the cinematography like a 4 because I've
four.
definitely seen worse. Um, like
Uh
I mean,
huh.
I feel like it didn't have that much like shaky cam really, like or it like it wasn't like at least to me it wasn't like terrible. I think the CGI was like really hit or miss. But
CGI was really bad, but
yeah,
that's all of Marvel's stuff lately. Like, I think that's what I heard was a big criticism of the new Doctor Strange movie.
yeah. I mean that's not surprising. Um, I guess for creativity, I mean, I just think this isn't necessarily down to the direction, but I think the concept of Moon Knight's really creativity, or it's really creative. I'll give it like a
Mhm.
7 for creativity. What do you think?
Yeah, probably a 7. I like Moon Knight as a character.
Yeah, I mean, I really
Um,
like Oscar Isaac too. I mean, I know that's not the same score, but I
mhm.
think he
I
like
mean,
if he wasn't in the show, I definitely wouldn't have watched it. Like, because like he
yeah,
really like kept it very interesting the whole
yeah.
time.
It's like a white Batman, so I guess that's why I like it a lot.
I guess what was the last one? Entertainment. I thought it was pretty entertaining, like despite that, but I think it's kind of limited by the fact that the actual it was execution was pretty bad. I'll give it like a 6.5.
I'll give it a 5.
5.
Every single time an episode came out, I somewhat got excited because I was hoping it would be better,
Yeah.
but then I just got continuously
So it
disappointed.
sounds like you kept telling me that like you like were like, oh my god, Moon Knight's so bad, and it like kind of is. That like you were in like I think we were like saying it's bad and we're reviewing it because like we actually kind of like deep down wanted it to be good.
I wanted it to be very good. I was very excited for Moon Knight. It's like back to, like, the classic superhero, right?
Yeah.
You don't have you don't have Marvel kind of like, off in space with blue and, like, orange neon lights, like Guardians of the Galaxy and, like, Thor and things like that, right? All those, You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, he's more grounded, and he's not like
after
super
Infinity
powerful.
Wars, it
Yeah,
was like all crazy. Everything
yeah,
from like Doctor Strange and all that. Everything is all like crazy. Like yeah, super crazy, super magical, super everything.
yeah. I think a lot of the new heroes are very like grounded too. Maybe not the Eternals, but like Shang Chi is really great. Like he's like just a
I didn't
guy
like
with
that
rings.
movie.
That was a really good movie. Um,
It did feel a little goofy though because like his dad's troops had like crazy futuristic tech weapons, right?
yeah,
Um, but I didn't think it was bad. It was kind of like a sword and sorcery movie, which is kind of nice. It kind of reminded me of like um I don't know. So it had a very like 19 like 50s and 60s like Eastern movie kind of vibe. Like
yeah, and
that
the
came
action in that
came out of
movie,
China and Japan at that time.
yeah, the action was really good.
Yeah.
Until the final CGI, cesspool. Uh,
Oh, you didn't like them beating each other with their rings?
no, actually, I thought the rings was fine. I thought the actual like dragon was really stupid.
Oh,
Yeah, the rings is like
yeah.
it's an okay amount of CGI,
Yeah.
but
I don't know.
I wish they just like
I liked it.
hand to hand combat. I wish that
I
was
think
it.
it I think that movie was probably one of the better Marvel movies. Perhaps we could review it next week.
Tomorrow, no, one podcast every day.
Why not?
We're increasing at an exponential rate. We're off for like 4 months, and then we drop like 10 in a week. Yeah,
Hey, consistency is key, and as long as we hit out our annual quota, we're good. Of
yeah.
four, four a year.
I
It's a
mean,
seasonal
this is
podcast.
it. Yeah. So,
It's like the Home and Garden show.
no.
Well, we'll
Any,
be back in the fall.
well, you can record in person in the fall, so that should be good. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah.
that's true. Whack.
Anyway, we've kind of rambled on a bit here. We ended up going 40 minutes anyway, even though trying to go 30. We were trying to go 30. But I think we had a lot to say, and it was more organized. I think to some
I'll
extent.
uh, I'll cut out the part where we started ranting about modern day politics and seamlessly integrate the before and after, so it looks like we didn't even rant about it.
Yeah. Cut out all the
Yeah,
parts where Ben cut in.
yeah. We started talking about Israel.
That was
Why
oh my
not?
god.
Why
All right.
not?
All right. Well, thank you all seven of you for watching the Proscats podcast.